I guess like if there's one word that kind of sums up what I'd like to talk about, it's focus.
Focus, okay. Yeah.
Like we talk ideas a lot, which is good. Like that's what I primarily want to be doing right now. But
Yep.
I think I might have said a version of this earlier, but I'm recognizing rapidly that I'm spread too thin.
Yeah, okay.
And I combine that realization with the idea that, I don't know who told me this, but somebody pounded into my head a little while ago that everybody should have a 10-year plan.
Okay.
And I think that's right. I think that makes sense. So I would like to develop my own kind of 10-year plan and use that as a guide to determine what I need to be focusing on and what I need to be cutting out today. Oh, thanks. That's even nice to lean on. Thank you. But we can put that second if you got something you wanted to talk about.
Well, it was just kind of overall like the document. It's interesting because I've got the binder on the go now, and I've got the like some of the themes and stuff that's come down now from ChatGPT. But I started off from episode 6 when I asked for the pins,
right? Yeah,
and kind of sort of kept going from there. And it's really interesting, like how it's evolving. And I just sort of wanted to talk about when we get into the this last one now. But I find it interesting because I went through. I've been cleaning out my NAS server, just getting rid of all of the media that I'm never going to use this, and just poof, out it goes. And one of the things I came across was a big folder of all of my podcast projects that I've been, not all of them. There was a couple of them from 2012 that I don't have anymore, but these newer ones are worth looking at. And one in particular was called Other People's Stories. And I had gone and I'd registered otherpeoplesstories.com as a URL.
Right.
And I had created a YouTube channel for it. There was nothing on it yet, but it was just kind of in preparation of. Yeah. And I had a logo done up for it. My niece did some artwork for me. It turned out to be shit, but whatever. Yeah. Anyway, but there it was, and I had kind of the first 6 of them mapped out. And I don't know if I think I sent you a video a while back of, it was just called Dennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. He was the older guy, the bike mechanic, but he was also like he was a former airplane mechanic.
Yeah.
And he was just telling his sort of his life story by telling his beliefs.
Right.
Yeah. That's what it was going to look like. I was going to do these little mini documentaries, but there was also going to be it was going to be multimedia. It was going to be, a website and maybe written stories like essays and stuff like that. And I look at where this is going, and all I can see is this is other people's stories. Like this is it's remarkable. It's much more fleshed out, but it's that concept.
Is that it is that concept. I would put an emphasis on the inner worlds. That's where my interest is.
Yeah, well, and the inner worlds and then the compounding interests, that's the one. And then, of course...
Explain that one to me. Exactly. I saw that too, but I'm not entirely sure what that means.
So the idea of compounding interests was it basically hinged on conceptual continuity. So rather than Joe Rogan having a comedian and then having an Egyptologist and then having a heart surgeon and then having a professional soccer player, like it's always different. It's kind of more or less a variety show. The only thing that stays the same is Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Right.
So to flip that on its head, then you would say that you could have different hosts or you could have different scenarios. But the thematic imperative would be the same. The conceptual continuity would be the same for a season or for a series or for whatever it would be. And so then it came up with the idea of compounding interest, which was a pun. I just kind of threw that away, and I can't believe that ChatGPT pulled that out of the transcript because I said it's like compound interest, and then I said compound interests, haha, and it picked up on that. So the idea was instead of interviewing one famous polymath for 2 hours and moving on, you could spend 8 episodes exploring the idea through radically different lives: an artist, a tradesperson, a scientist, someone who changed careers at 50, someone whose apparently useless obsession suddenly became valuable 20 years later. Each story advances the central question, which in this case would be compounding interests. And I just like that. Just to me, all the tumblers lined up, and it was like click, and it just unlocked. And it was just like, oh my god!
Let's talk about let's build an example of this, like an example a potential real world example to solidify this idea in my head. So, what? Let's formulate just an example. Make up an example of this.
Well, it could be any example. It could be me. I could be one of the subjects, if you would.
Okay.
Right. So I've done all of these different things.
Yeah.
I've had interest in music, and I've had interest in production, and I've had interest in architecture, and I've had interest in photography and all these different business starting businesses, all that kind of stuff. Right. Theater, performing, all these different things. And so throughout my life, I've compounded these interests into something now that gives me kind of I guess maybe a minor superpower when it comes to story.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like if I were to say, what was the summation, what was the culmination of all of my interests over my 40 years of working? And the answer to me would be story. Like, I understand story better than any other concept in life right now. I understand story. I understand its structure, how it works, how to tell one, when one is good, when one is not good. I can recognize when there's a story in progress. Like, it's almost like I've super sensed myself. I've tuned my antenna perfectly to story. And it happens almost on a daily basis. Like, if I'm by myself, I can say, oh wow, that's a really good story. If I'm with other people, if I'm in a social area, all of a sudden someone will start talking and be like, oh, there's a story there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just automatically tuned in. So that would be an example. So then if you were to find somebody else who kind of popped around and did all of these different activities throughout their life, and then it sort of culminated into such and such, right? Like, that's the thematic imperative. That's the theme. That's the conceptual continuity, is what does all this nonsense, all this randomness, all this chasing of ideas, what does it amount to? And that would be your answer. And you would, in this particular case, you'd have 5 or 6 different examples of people who compounded their interests into something that there was no university course for. Like, you don't go to school to be a story consultant.
And we would make a series of shows out of that?
Yeah, you would be able to, as you would begin to get people to explain their obsessions, or their paths that they were on. You say, okay, well, that was interesting. So this guy was an auto mechanic. All right, well, and then he sold it all and he started a bakery. Well, where does that go? Right? Well, you won't know until you get to the end of the guy's life, like when it all comes together, and whatever that might be. And that's the thing, is that it's almost impossible to say, oh, I know where that's going.
It is interesting. It is interesting.
I'm not saying I want to do this right now. I'm just saying this so works as a model. This is the structure of this is it's just off the charts.
Even if we incorporate it somehow into something else.
Sure.
Where my mind kind of goes with it, like personally, is I spent, I don't know how long, probably about 10 years knee deep in the online poker world.
Yeah, okay.
And I learned fucking more life lessons learning how to fucking play poker and study game theory.
Yeah.
That I applied to anything. Like, I can directly attribute, like, some of my weight loss success and some other things to, like, concepts I learning how to play poker competitively.
Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, like, I see some of that, like, the overlap.
Well, and then going back to what you said earlier, the fifth was inner worlds. That's what it said, right? Because in terms of the themes, so there was 3 categories of notes that it gave us. There was more than that, but the three ones that I glommed onto was ideas, themes, and projects. And I have to take a moment just to say that I've never experienced this before. Like, I usually go over my notes and I usually distill this kind of stuff by myself. And so the revelations, the epiphanies come at a rate that I can handle.
Yeah.
Well, this shit comes out like a storm sewer manhole cover, like blowing off.
And, it's overwhelming. Like, I'm impressed that you can organize it, because I have a hard time even organizing it.
I organize it, but then I start to decompose it, or deconstruct it rather.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I got to stop, because it's overwhelming to the revelation, the wow factor. It's just like, whoa, look at that. So it's almost like, so I think I'm going to take a break from asking ChatGPT for anything until I get through this, right?
Yeah.
But the ideas, the themes, and then the projects. Again, not to say that we need to move on any of these things, but in terms of mining, my God, we found, like, there isn't just like little tiny nuggets of gold. There's entire fucking veins of gold that go deep, deep down into the ground. Like, we just have to figure out how we want to get it out and what we want to do with it. But it's gold. Some of these things are gold. Inner Worlds is great. Love that.
You know what I love about Inner Worlds? Well, it's two things. I mean, of course, it's just, I've been knee deep in my own for a couple of years now. So, I mean, of course, that helps me set my intention and direction a little bit. But more than that, it seems to me that the world is becoming increasingly performative. Like,
very much so.
People with social media, like their text messages, like the use of emojis, like, and
even lifestyles are performative now.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Activist themes are performative now.
Yeah. And I think that, like, it doesn't have to be this way, but I think it generally is this way, that people are performative, like, almost to protect their inner worlds. Like, they don't want people to see it.
Yeah, that's a very good theory.
And I that's why I think, like, there's a whole lot of people that are going to relate like motherfuckers if we can start exposing inner worlds.
So I think it's to me it's the riskiest of the project ideas. But it's also potentially the most rewarding, as you just said. Mm-hmm. It's got that heavily funded NPR side to it, right? It is This American Life, essentially, is what it is.
Yeah.
Or Jonathan Goldstein's series.
But very difficult. Like, it's very
Extremely
difficult to get people to open up, and when they do, you have no way to know if they're telling the truth.
True. So there's a YouTube channel we can learn from.
Okay.
That's one of the things, again, that I spent when I was back in 2016, 2017. I was helping a company develop a video training curriculum.
Yeah.
And so for almost 2 solid years, all I did was watch YouTube.
Yeah.
8 hours a day, I watched YouTube. That's it. I mean, I would go and do physical work as well. But there was so much YouTube, and it was just all taking notes. Like, okay, how does this channel work, and how does they work, and what were their numbers, and how did they solve this problem, and all that kind of stuff. It was fascinating. But one of the ones that I really glommed onto and follow to this day is called Invisible People. And the guy who's behind that, his name is Mark Horvath.
That's the homeless one, I think.
Yeah. And he's a former television executive. And now he's become like probably one of the world's foremost homeless activists, like just drawing attention to it, right? And he's done such a great job with this, and they've produced several documentaries now, and they're very well done. But the thing is that everybody thinks that he would just go up to a homeless person and start asking them a bunch of questions. Yeah. And that's not at all what he did. He talked about this in one particular video that he made, it would often take him 6 months before he could get the person comfortable enough with him that he could say, hey, would you mind if I interviewed you? Like, could I ask you a few questions on camera? Like 6 months to get one of those videos.
6 months of what? Like just talking to them?
Yeah, just going, hey, how are you doing today? Here's a fresh pair of socks for you. Hey, I brought you a coffee. What's going on? Just hanging out.
Yeah. Just
hanging out with people. So when I heard that, my mind blew just like that. Because I'm thinking to myself, wow, he's got like a 9-minute interview, and that took him 6 months to get that 9-minute interview.
Yeah.
He wouldn't edit at the beginning. It would just be, he'd just let the camera run. And it was just at that point when he
And
first
for that
started.
entire 6 months, he never told them what he was
Nope.
out to do?
Nope. Nope. He was so committed.
It's risky and possibly unethical. I'm not sure.
I'm sorry, what do you mean?
Well, it's risky for sure because it's a huge time and even financial commitment with no assured payoff. So it's
Yeah.
risky in that, and unethical possibly. I mean, you're using people.
Well, you're at the end of the day, you're not. Like he's making friends with them. He's giving them stuff, right? He's helping them. He's trying to hook some people up as he would with services.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
he's advocating.
And nobody else is.
And at the end of the day, if they said, no, I'm not comfortable, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, I totally get that, right? Because he himself was homeless twice, not once, but twice.
Yeah, fair.
So
Okay.
he kind of sees the world through their eyes. I think if you would have been secretly taping them,
Yeah.
that would have been illegal. I would never.
Plus, we all have our fucking motives. Even if you become friends with somebody, you've got a motive for doing that.
Oh, sure. But I mean, if you look at now, I mean, it's been 10, 11 years now that he's had this channel going.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at his, like, again, don't listen to what people say. Look at what they do.
Yeah.
You know, he has gone so, I mean, he's appeared before Congress, various states, governments, like as in trying to make an appeal to them that, you know, they don't need to spend a lot of money to try to fix this problem. They don't have to have, you know, all these committees and these studies done. Consultants come in for, you know, several $100,000. You don't need to do any of that. You just need to do this, this, and this, and this.
Yeah.
And some of it's, taken root. But yeah, no, I mean, I look at him and it's like they're, you know, 11 years later, there hasn't been any scandals. There hasn't been any accusations. And he's still right on course to trying. His goal is to eliminate homelessness.
Yeah. So you're saying that we've... Okay, so how would that cross over to what we're maybe...
What I'm saying is that if we were to take on something like Inner Worlds, it would have to be, first and foremost, a labor of love. Mm-hmm. Second of all, it would have to be treated much like a farm. Like you're going to plant some seeds and you're going to see, even if they sprout, they might not even sprout. And it will take a huge time commitment to get to a point where somebody would sit down and share the story. Much like with you and I, and you sharing your podcast story.
Yeah.
Like when I first suggested that to you, it would be like, oh, like there's no way I could do that, you know. And then a year later, you know, you're thinking about it. Yeah. Like so Inner Worlds would be that much of a commitment from us in order to even get the first one.
So just spitballing, how would we choose who we invest in and who we don't?
Well, I think you're looking, you're always on the lookout. You've got the, you know, the antenna, you've got the radio on. You know, you hear of somebody or you meet somebody. Hey, I think that story would be perfect for Inner Worlds. Yours would be the first.
Yeah. That's interesting because then we already have a first season then.
Yeah. So again, I'm not saying this is the plan. I'm saying this is one way that this could pan out. It's just worth thinking about.
Yeah.
The age 23 theory is fun. I would like, essay, podcast episode, presentation, short documentary about when people stop updating their internal model and see how the world works. That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Because you could see, you know, this you know, rig pig, you know, who got a job, you know, in the oil fields at age 19 and was making $108,000 a year, you know, and it just had this great life, and it's just like, you know, and then lost it all when oil crashed and, you know, and all that. And then now it's like the person still, you know, and then I had my own note at the back here, you know, stop developing emotionally at 19 years old. It's just like, well, what's that all about? You know, and then you start explaining that. That would be an interesting thing. Compounding interest, as I mentioned. Bunker or journey. I didn't really see... I didn't see any depth to that one. It says a series exploring why people accumulate skills, possessions, knowledge, money, or experiences. Are they preparing to protect themselves or something from something, or preparing to go somewhere? Like to me, that's not a deep enough question to waste time.
I don't even know. I'd have to think on that.
Producing. People can sense a protected story. I don't think that's a project in and of itself. I think that
should be our motive. What's the term?
Modus operandi, yeah, our MO, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. The lost art of showing up. That would be an interesting one for, I think, for a limited series. And
Yeah,
I think
right. Yeah, run that by me.
yeah, your conversations about radio, scheduled television, live music, and shared experiences could become an exploration of what society lost when media became available everywhere, individually and on demand. So I just think you could take, like, let's interview a bunch of people, for instance, like, hey, what was your favorite thing about going to see a concert? You know what I mean? And you could share all these memories. And what was your favorite TV show when you grew up? And like, do you remember going to, you'd sit down in front of the TV on, Thursday nights or whatever and watch Miami Vice, like, whatever it might be. You could talk about when you used to listen to the radio, when you listened to Art Bell or whatever, like that was a thing. So it could be just people recalling their experiences and their memories from a time before on demand and streaming, ubiquitous everywhere.
What if this is a fucking crazy ambitious idea. What if we actually recreated that? This is a ridiculously out there and complicated idea. Just let me get it out to see what comes of it.
Yeah.
What if we produce podcasts that we didn't actually release to the public? Like we do everything now like direct to video, so to speak. What if we didn't do that? What if we had, if you want to hear these podcasts, you've got to go to this such a place at such a time and sit in a chair with everybody else and fucking listen.
So This American Life did that, and so did Prairie Home Companion. Like, they actually went on tour with their shows. Radiolab, I think, did the same thing, and that's where they didn't stream or post their episode, but yet they had everybody come to a theater, and then they had the sound system set up, and everybody listened in real time. And then there was a Q&A afterwards. And I would say it was maybe moderately successful, like as in some people showed up.
But then they eventually just released it?
Yeah. Well, then they released the live episode. Like, they recorded the actual event.
Like that.
Yeah. But I mean, horrendous amount of work, right? Like, that's the thing. Not just to produce the live event. And live event production is way different than regular production. But then they also had to promote it. Yeah. And then there had to be some sort of a cachet. Like, why would you go, okay, if you're going to go see Ira Glass live in New York, sure, like, I'd pay money to go and sit and watch him live. But Dan Kern, no. Who's that? Do you know what I mean? Like the idea you're so swimming against the current, because the current is I have my choice of 1,000 options the minute I sit down on my couch, right? And I can consume 3 or 4 of them at the same time, even if I want.
That's the problem, though. Like that.
That's right. Yeah, but like, what would make you get up, find parking, pay money to watch something that you have no idea? Like, I don't think people are looking for. I think the Overton window is way too far out on the other side.
I think you're right. That's just the part I don't like. Like, that's what I wish we could somehow change.
Yeah, see, and I'm with you on that. That I agree with that sentiment. But I just think that overall, like, we're not going to change anybody at this stage of the game. Like, maybe after the collapse, maybe after the apocalypse, James Howard Kunstler wrote a series of 4 novels called World Made by Hand series. And in it, he talked about some point in the future after everything had collapsed, right? Like, everything was gone. Like, it was all back to like 1880, when people had to find out, this guy who was a computer, programmer found out that he was actually pretty good at blacksmithing. And so he made horseshoes, and people had to learn how to do animal husbandry again. And they had to learn how to plant gardens and, bake with a wood stove oven, and all that kind of stuff. So it was a very interesting concept. Getting together and playing live instruments in a pub where you were drinking homemade beer, that somebody had made from locally grown hops. Like, I mean, that was their world, right? And I think we would be able to pull that off then. But until that collapse happens, we're living in WALL-E. Like, everybody's zombified now. It's like The Walking Dead.
It kind of is. Yeah.
So then we had Edmonton as laboratory, and I like that idea. By the way, after I've watched a few Edmonton based videos now, like, they're just coming, They're coming hard.
Yeah.
And some of them are pretty good, actually. Where do you get your dopamine? That's another, I think, interesting concept. A project exploring anticipation, consumption, creation, and fulfillment. We can kind of take all those themes and sort of marry them together into like a single episodic experience.
Yeah.
The only problem I find is that would I listen to 30 of those episodes? Probably not. I'd probably get the idea, 1 or 2 or 3 in, and then I would be done. One of my favorite lefty podcasts right now is Team Human by Douglas Rushkoff. Rushkoff, I think it's Rushkoff. And he wrote Media Virus way back when in the 90s.
Yeah.
And coined a number of statements that we use today in terms of social media and stuff like that. Interesting fellow. But his whole thing is he's just so rah Team Human and against corporate America and corporate globalism and all that kind of stuff, fascism. He's just so against all of that. He just wants us to band together again as human beings, and discover what it means to be human. And I like it, but the shows are all the same. All of his guests are the same. And so it's kind of like, I'm sort of tired of it now. I'm no longer looking forward to new episodes.
Yeah.
Anyway, that to me seems like that. The things nobody documents. This could almost be the Fritter Hollow manifesto, documenting the conversations, false starts, abandoned ideas, and unexpected connections that occur before something exists. So I so much love this idea, but I think I'm at like a team of 1 or maybe 2. You maybe love it as well.
I mean, and that's not. I mean, we're already kind of doing that one.
We are doing that. Yeah. And
it's valuable. Like I'm all about it, but I don't know if there's any commercial viability there.
Well, it's an interesting curiosity, right? And then you never know when a spark actually happens and something takes off. It's like, wow, didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah. And then sponsor the journey, document the result. So I have to walk back what I said earlier on that. And I said, because I was thinking about it, and I do think that my concern about it being a conflict of interest was legitimate.
Yeah.
But you made the point, and I didn't pick up on it fast enough when you said it last episode. But you said, but it's not a journalism project. Like it's not journalism.
Yeah.
So when I listened to it once it was online, I thought, no, he's right. He's right about that. So yeah, that could work. But again, I think that's sort of a down the road project where you've got already some time and money and you've got a team.
Yeah.
I think looking at what we're doing right now, we're obviously tremendously ambitious.
Yeah.
We're not lazy, like we're willing to put in the work, but we're taking on projects that are infinitely bigger. Like I tried telling somebody about the After Hours project.
Yeah.
And I said, so what does this project remind you of? And right away everybody said, Tiny Desk concerts.
Yeah.
Tiny Desk concerts. That's right, NPR Music. Do you know how many people work on Tiny Desk concerts? Like every single episode? There's over 30.
Yeah.
30. Do you know how many people work on this? 1.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, it's a bit unfair, Yeah. And so that's what I want to make sure. Let me be clear. That After Hours project is one of the best things I've ever done.
Oh yeah, it's impressive as hell.
But it burned me out completely. So I never want to get into a situation like that again. And I could not find anyone to take over.
Yeah.
Like there was nobody who could step up and fill those shoes. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So that was a thing. Anyway, one of the things I thought of is I think we need to go back and change the blurb on the website.
Okay.
If you wouldn't mind, maybe giving that to ChatGPT, saying here's what you wrote at the beginning.
Yeah.
But now what it said here was the most important evolution across 10 episodes. Episode 10, it said we're beginning to identify the kinds of stories that actually interest us: hidden inner worlds, unprotected stories, meaningful documentaries, and helping people make sense of things. It's like, whoa, mic drop.
Yeah.
That was so on the money. And I thought, there's a mission statement. There's a thematic imperative. There's almost a bit of a manifesto, if you will. So if you could give ChatGPT that, which it created,
yeah,
and then show what it created originally for the website, and then say, make something updated now, okay, that's more in line with this.
Unprotected Stories is even a good fucking name.
Oh my God, that is tremendous.
Yeah.
It really is.
Like I would click on a show called that probably.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's it, and I like so. What I'm trying to do again, and I've been sitting with this like literally the entire weekend. I just had this binder open, flipping back and forth between the pages, reading it again, listening to the episode again, and so I just blocked out this whole thing. This whole thing now, it's gelling, but it's not 100% there yet. I don't think the first 10 episodes demonstrate that Fritter Hollow needs to find its subject. I think they demonstrate that Fritter Hollow has already found its subject, but you and Dan haven't completely recognized it yet. And then it goes on to say, the subject is curiosity as a productive force. So that kind of stopped me. I've like highlighted it and underlined it and just I keep going back to it.
I do like that.
Like, hey?
Curiosity as a productive force.
Yeah. So if you were going to build a car, that would be the engine.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be the wheels? What would be the cabin? What would be the roof? Like all of what would be the fuel that it uses? Like all of those things are sort of building that metaphor out. But if curiosity is a productive force, then curiosity is the engine, right? And then I mean it goes back then now to way back when I made that stamp. Where is it?
Was it follow your curiosity?
Like that was one of the show concepts that I came up with.
Yeah.
So other than the other people's stories, it was follow your curiosity.
Yeah.
And it was
funny all the overlap, eh?
Absolutely. Like as in, yeah. And so we have a couple of doers and we have following curiosity. Well, what's in this little Venn diagram? What's the middle part? Maybe that's Fritter Hollow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's one of the shows. I don't know. I don't want to jump to conclusions too fast. I don't want to fill in the blanks of these multiple choice questions before their time is right. Like I don't want to satisfy these equations just to have an answer, just to solve for X.
Yeah.
It's like let's do it organically. And then one of the sweet spots. This was back in episode. No, this was the summary. Catalog Derek and Dan's goals and desires. Derek and Dan are both trying to transform curiosity, memory, and accumulated life experience into meaningful creative work before time runs out. There's just so much gold in here. It's just unbelievable. And then, so curiosity is a productive force. And then you find something interesting, you talk about it, you connect it to something apparently unrelated. One of you challenges the other's interpretation. A new idea emerges. You preserve it. Eventually, some of those ideas become things. That is Fritter Hollow. It's like, yeah, that's it in a nutshell. So to bring this now to a full stop, and then to say what I wanted to say as a result of examining all of this, was I think what we need to look at, and this is where I went and asked you earlier, like, is this a production company? Are we looking towards monetizing anything and all that kind of stuff? And, and ChatGPT was, it disagreed with me, which I think it was fun. But I think this is at the stage right now is, do we continue with churning out these overly ambitious ideas? Or do we now start building a model, test our mettle, and raise money to actually do these things like for real? Like that's the question.
I'm leaning towards that.
Okay.
I mean, and that's what I came in and talked today. Like I think I kind of just want to go all in on making the shows. Like I'm thinking of putting almost everything else on the back burner. I mean, I have to work to a degree. I've got to keep the company going to a degree. Like I have obligations.
Yeah.
But I think like I'm not giving up songwriting. I still enjoy it. But I think I'm giving up all aspirations of like song production and performing and stuff. Because I'm 50. I turned 51 yesterday.
Right.
Like I feel like if I don't go all in on something, I'm not going to get anything done. Do you agree with that?
Well, I mean, I've gone through that myself, a number of times in my life. But certainly, it's like if you're trying to penetrate something, you don't do it with a really wide, you're not. A nail is really really pointy on one end.
Yeah.
if you're going to try and bang a 2x4 into another 2x4, it's just going to splinter the wood. Like it's
Yeah.
not going to work, right?
I'm going to keep writing songs, but I think I'm going to write songs in the way that like you meet somebody and they're like, I like to play bridge every now and then.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about. What I've been talking about all along is, without trying to ruin the thing. Sometimes when you name something, you like they say you're not supposed to name wild animals, right? There's a whole thing, you don't, there's Becky the fox, don't name Becky the fox. Just it's the fox. The fox is going to come. Yeah. Fox went through the yard again. Don't name it. Ruins it. But if you're able to hierarchically, I don't know how you'd say that. Use hierarchical methodology to make an order of the things that you're into. Mm-hmm. You can't be into everything equally. That doesn't work in life.
And I think I have done that. I just don't think that this podcast thing was high enough. Okay. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like I've sort of had like this, talking about inner worlds, like this self-identifying songwriter label that has always seemed important to me.
Yep.
To try to keep. And I think I need to let that go.
Well, or maybe turn that into a podcast episode, right? Like an episode of that show.
Yeah.
Right? Like and that would be a good thing. And I think, going back to last episode too, I think embracing failures is something that we need to return to doing as well.
Yeah.
Like I think we, first of all, there's no shame in it, but we've attached shame into it because we've all become performative now.
Yeah.
And if you fail at something, well, that's not very performative, is it? Nobody's going to give you a standing O or an applause for that.
So are you proposing like one of the shows to be embracing failure?
It could be.
Where we talk about somebody about their biggest.
Yeah, it could
failures?
be inner worlds. Like it could be
a part of inner worlds.
Could be a part of inner worlds.
And is the inner worlds? Are we going to call that unprotected stories?
Yeah, I don't know yet. That like all of that could possibly be the right answer.
Yeah.
Like I don't know yet. I think we need to let it continue to gestate.
My story could absolutely be the first season of that.
Yeah, but I think if you were to say something like, "Hey, I always wanted to be," but then I had a family,
Yeah.
I mean, like wow, like what a thing, like well, what was it about that, and I think that sort of scratches the itch for a lot of people because I think a lot of people can say, "Hey, I relate to that," I always wanted to be a professional athlete. How come you didn't? And then that's the episode. Like, how come you didn't? What kept you from doing that? Do you think you'll ever maybe return to that? I mean, obviously, if you're going to be a professional football player and you're in your 50s, you're not.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. But I mean, if you've always wanted to be, a jazz pianist,
yeah,
and now you're 60, it's like, and it's been bugging you at night. Well, why not? First of all, let's go and examine why you didn't become that. And I think that the telling of that story, even though it's an intensely personal one, would be universal.
Yeah.
Why didn't you? Because I had a family. My kids meant more to me than my dream. Wow, bing, you just rang the old heart bell right there.
Yeah.
And then there was this and there was that, and my parents were ill and all that kind of stuff. It's like, wow, this person's a real saint.
But I want to go even way deeper than that because none of that's really inner worlds. That's practical decisions.
Sure, but it's also inner world. It's also you probably didn't tell anybody that.
Yeah, but I bet you he would have had, consuming thoughts about it or in his mind, fantasies he told himself.
Sure, exactly. All the above.
That stuff is interesting.
All the above. And if you can coax that out, I mean, wow, you make some really compelling content, I think.
That's what I want to do. Like this is where I want to do more than one thing maybe with this whole Fritter Hollow brand. But that is, for me, where my primary interest is, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, and I don't know if it's in here. Where is it here? It was. The explicit and implicit goals. That's what it's, so that's when I asked you to run it through ChatGPT and say, what are our goals and desires? And my implicit goals, it gave some explicit goals, which were obvious. But the implicit goals, and the one that struck me most was preserve meaning in a world becoming increasingly digital. That has been...
That's huge.
That's also been on my mind now for, I'd say, the better part of this decade.
Yeah. Like
since 2016. I left, my regular employ in 2016 and went back into my, entrepreneurial ways.
Right.
So that was my last job. And ever since then, it's just how do I preserve meaning, whether it was through my own work, photographs, podcasts, videos I make.
Yeah.
How do I preserve meaning in a world that I can feel slipping away?
Yeah.
Like it's slipping away. All of my childhood memories, they're all illegal now. You can't ride in the back of a pickup truck. You can't stay out until the streetlights come on by yourself in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Your parents will get arrested. You'll be taken away and put into province custody. Like you can't do any of that anymore.
I grew up. I was 8 years old going to the store to get my dad cigarettes.
Yeah.
Like that's just fucking unheard of. And my dad understood if it was a new store, he understood that he had to write a note one time.
Yeah.
And he would do it on the flap of the cigarette package, so that the brand was there.
Yeah.
But if he had to do it twice, that was not reasonable.
Yeah.
He's like, I've already been through this.
Yeah.
So the world has changed.
Yeah. I mean, it has, and I mean, I've told the story before, but I was driving on a road by myself in a car at age 13.
Yeah.
Because Grandpa would go get the swather from the acreage, which was 8 miles away, and he'd take me, and then obviously I would have to drive the car back. It was at 2 miles an hour. But nonetheless, I was 13 years old. Like you can't do that now, And I mean, true. I'm not saying that was right or wrong. I'm not putting a moral judgment on it. I'm just saying that if we don't preserve the meaning of things, and it wasn't you should teach your kids how to drive at 13. That's not what I'm saying. But the idea that kids had that they were responsible for stuff, and that they had to suffer the consequences if they made mistakes, if they effed up. I think that's worth preserving because nobody suffers consequences anymore. In fact, you can lose millions of dollars in a Ponzi scheme investment and you don't go to jail anymore.
Well, poor people do though.
Well, poor people do. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. Anyway, so then the recurring internal questions for me was, why am I stockpiling these skills, or what am I stockpiling them for, and what deserves preservation? So if my implicit goal, one of them is to preserve meaning, then the question is what deserves preservation? What deserves my remaining time? And all of the effort that goes, all the pushing of pixels, all the adjusting of sound, cutting of ideas together and all that, what is worthy of that effort now?
Yeah. That's
where we're going. And then, our overlapping intersectional items, that's you and me.
Yeah.
Are remarkably similar. Our shared goal is make things, find meaning through process, preserve something, understand our own lives, and build community. And I'm in love with all of that.
So am I. It's time for me to dedicate myself to this. Because one of the things I've been struggling with too, Dan, we've been doing the Fritter Hollow podcast now, 10 episodes, so I guess that's 11 weeks, because I think we missed a week. But it's like we record the episode, right? And I spend the rest of the week thinking about it off and on. But I'm doing so much other shit that it's like I'm not actually working on it. You know what I mean? I'm working on my own podcast. I'm doing that near daily. But I'm not doing anything else until we record a new episode again.
Yeah.
And that's what I think I need to change. It's time, to buckle down. So I think I want to be all about this. I need to focus. I think I need to start identifying as a fucking podcast producer or something. I don't know. You can help me with that.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not so good with that.
My inner identity needs to change.
Well, it's kind of like. I guess it's kind of like when you're younger, if you're dating, more than one girl, or more than one boy, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, you should pick one.
Yeah.
You're not going to start families with all of them, or at least you shouldn't.
But it's hard when you spent decades thinking that you knew the one you wanted.
Well, fair enough. Let's jump to another analogy now. And we've spent decades. We spent our entire adult lives not specializing.
Yeah.
Because we grew up in the era as that came to a close, right?
Yeah.
That's the problem. And so, I would have loved to have just done one thing for my whole life. I would have loved to but I couldn't because it wasn't economically viable.
Yeah.
So I had to do this and I had to do that and I had to do that to somehow make a living, right? It's not unlike it was 100 years ago.
Yeah.
People had to do the same. They had to figure stuff out, try this, try that, see what stuck. I mean, if you were lucky enough to have a plot of land and be a farmer, well, you didn't have to really worry because you could just grow your own food.
Yeah.
But if you lived in a city and shit was changing all the time, and that's where we are now again. That's my biggest fear right now for Gen Z, and then Gen Alpha, I guess, is the one coming up after them. It's just, what the fuck are they going to do?
I know. I mean, my
like, it was bad enough for us.
You got to get in the trades or join the military. I think are the only two things that are like safe.
Yeah, but not everybody can do that.
I know.
That's the problem.
But everybody's going to need a fucking plumber. Everybody's going to need an electrician, and military's the military.
Yeah, if you somewhat enjoy it and you're halfway as good at it, there's a good living to be made from it.
Yeah. It's
not glamorous now. You're anti-performative.
Yeah.
What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a plumber. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Until you need a fucking plumber.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's it right now. I've really enjoyed working through this. I've really enjoyed these 10/11 episodes as an exercise.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's over. Definitely not.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think we need to notch up now. We need to move up a new level.
Yeah.
And I think that new level is let's apply our talents now to figuring out what does this look like, if we rented a bigger space, or had a small team of people, like what would it look like? What would it function? What would we do? How would we pay for it? Like that's, I think it's time to step up now. And
I don't even know if we need a bigger space. I wonder if we need a smaller one.
Well, you've expressed quieter, but you've also expressed worries that it could be like the rug could be pulled at any given moment.
Yeah,
right? Like
I am worried about them jacking the rent.
Yeah, well, jacking the rent or just saying like, yeah, we're not doing this anymore. We're going to turn it all into palletized storage. So
which fucking might happen.
Legitimately.
That moving company's taking this building over bit by little.
Yeah. So I mean, legitimately, the days are numbered.
Yeah.
So we have to figure out, I think, what would happen next. What would it look like? And we're smart enough, and there's enough opportunities, and I don't see a problem. I don't see the answers on paper yet, but I think we could come up with them if we
you know what,
if we get creative.
You know what appeals to me, but is impractical, and I'm just going to spit this out there to see if it gives you any ideas. I wish, instead of having this space, I wish we had a fucking apartment somewhere.
Or a house.
Yeah, either one.
Yeah.
Because we get everything from meetings to production would go a lot smoother there.
Yeah.
But then, like, the practical problems with that is it's no longer a business write-off because it's got to be zoned industrial for me to write it off as an office.
Well, it would be a business write-off for other income.
If we had other income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like, leaving here, like, the direction we're talking about taking things, I don't really think we need the space anymore, but I don't want to let any of the gear go. All the gear we've got is applicable to podcasts and video.
Well, it is, and I mean, it's maybe a bit too much, but you don't know what.
Right, there's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah, you don't know what you need to get rid. It's like, okay, well, let's get rid of all the lights. We got like 3 lighting kits, 4 of them if we count the one that Jason has, and you get rid of all the lights now. It's all this shit. We need to light something now.
And I think it's likely we will, because even if we do become audio only podcasts, the promotion is almost certain to involve video.
Yeah, well, I think we need to, and if you're going to do any documentaries, you need to be able to shoot video. Like you're not going to do an audio only documentary.
Yeah.
I think that would be a mistake.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, I think that's where we're at.
Yeah.
It's like, what's next?
I know, I can tell you, man, and I don't know where this fits in, but when I'm working on my podcast, like the hour a day I spend a day writing my podcast or like going over and cleaning up some of my old rough drafts or whatever I'm doing, I fucking love that time.
Yeah.
Like I have a hard time getting started every day, but once I get in that zone, I'm in that zone, and after, I feel like I'm walking on a fucking cloud.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't waste my life today.
Yeah.
So like I could easily apply that to other shows and be happy as a pig and shit.
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and it would start like compounding.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah. Yep. Well, I mean, I don't want to start spitballing financial models now,
yeah,
because that, to me, that is exhausting.
yeah.
But I think that we should start maybe next time.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, it means that next time we get together, we can start discussing ways to make money.
Okay. So you think we need to have that conversation before we figure out the project to start working on?
I do, because again, it's like what like again, I've asked sort of like what model do you want to build? You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is where I'm terrible.
Yeah. Well, it's just a matter of, I mean, it's sort of, yeah, like it's just basic business stuff, right? Like it's like, well, what do you want to do? You want to have a coffee shop. What kind of a coffee shop do you want to have? Are you what days a week you want to be open? What are you going to sell? Are you going to sell only coffee, or are you going to do baking? Are you going to do how many seats are you thinking of? Like there's just so many questions to ask, and then each of those answers will definitely narrow down the path, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's it. I mean, what do you see yourself producing? Do you see yourself editing at any point in the future? Like sitting there with a pair of headphones on and working away in front of a screen?
I would, but no, that's not what I see.
Okay. Well, I mean, but that's a decision, right? So then all of a sudden now, okay, well, so who is going to edit?
Yeah.
So all of that you can begin to.
Dan Kern.
Well, for at the beginning.
Yeah. I see myself primarily writing, I think.
Yeah.
Writing, and I like the narrating, and I like probably some promotions work.
So one of the reasons why I ask these questions is because if you can sketch out a model that would be ideal,
Yeah.
you can find someone else who's done that model, and then you can study how they got going and how they got to where they are now. A lot of it's online. You can go find a small production company that sort of documented their process from the ground up. Right? There's one in Norway or Sweden. I can't remember where they are now. Andyax is their name.
Yeah.
Andyaxx. And it's like 8 or 9 guys that got together in one day and said, "Hey, we all like doing this stuff. Let's make a production company." And like 3, 4, 5 years later now, like they're a legitimate group. Like it wasn't without its ups and downs, and they documented all of it.
Yeah.
But it's like somebody, no matter what you come up with, somebody has already done that. And if you can find them, then you can see how they did it. Done.
Yeah.
Maybe it starts off where you get a contract. Maybe you're a for hire company for the first little while. Maybe you produce a podcast for a construction company. Right? And then that brings in a certain amount of money per month. Now you can afford this. Now you can afford that.
See,
now you can do this.
That's interesting, because if we were doing something like that, like we would literally be discussing it on the Fritter Hollow podcast, but then actually like making the thing.
Yeah.
And then talking about it on the Fritter Hollow
within reason.
podcast.
You like some of it would be NDA, but yeah.
Yeah, well, the stuff that's NDA we just wouldn't release.
Yeah.
We would say this. Got to talk about some NDA stuff now.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's yes. Yeah.
I mean, what's the business model? That's the question we answer next.